Doug Berry. He's been an innovator in technology, media, and entertainment for the past 25 years as a founder, investor, board member, and operating executive. Doug co-founded Selby Ventures in 2000 and provided seed funding to over 50 digital media and software startups, including Pandora Media, which he helped guide from inception to IPO. Doug?
Trying to figure out the technology. Let's see if this works. It does work. How about that? Great to be here today. A little intimidating. How many teachers are in the room here today? Wow. It's a little scary for me. Can everyone hear this? It's a little scary for me because I was not a great student. I think, like Darius, we had our challenges. And the thing I particularly disliked was the standardized test. I can't believe it's still around 40 years later. What is with that? I remember those mornings reading those long, boring passages about things that I cared nothing about. And I would get to the end with 5 questions, multiple choice answers, I'm sorry. And they confused me more than the passage that I read. Because they would start with, after reading the whole thing, which one of these statements is not true? And I was trying to figure out which one was true. And then I would get to the dreaded E answer, which would say none of them. Double negative. I could not figure out what they were talking about. Which of these 5 were not true? Anyway, from that moment, I knew that standardized testing was not going to be my ticket in life, and it certainly was not leveraging what I thought my skills were. But what's clear is they're still around, and what's also clear is that education, the entire structure, has not changed dramatically since I was in the classroom. Still, this is a picture. I'm trying to impress my 8-year-old and with my PowerPoint presentation. She said it wasn't very good. But what we can see is the pyramid still has legislators, administrators at the top, and at the bottom, unfortunately, are the teachers and the students buried under the ground. And it was like that. It's a bit dramatic, but in some ways it's true, because the system is very uncustomized for the individual. I think public education is still running like a steam engine. We are trying to work harder and harder and smarter. Teachers are working harder. Kids are working harder. I have 4 kids. They're working around the clock. Everyone's tired, but we're not getting the results we want. And that's because the rest of the world has moved to high-speed bullet trains. And that's a problem. So what are we going to do? Anyone have an answer? I don't have an answer. I only have 4 minutes. Figure out a lot of things quickly here. We're going to have to think different. I know it's a bold idea, but we're going to have to think differently about things. And I think it's going to start with the entire school system. If schools want to produce different students, the schools themselves are going to have to act and think and look differently. And I think while technology in the classroom is going to help, curriculum is key, none of that's going to matter if the culture of the entire classroom, of the entire school system does not change dramatically in the next 20 years. A quick story. I had breakfast with Tim Westergren a couple of years ago, the founder of Pandora. Great guy. And we were talking about all the challenges the company was having. Financial challenges, legal challenges, problems with the music industry, competition from Apple, Yahoo. It was a rough couple of days. And I asked him what was the biggest challenge he faced with the company. And he looked at me and he said, the number 1 challenge that I have is the culture challenge. He said, culture is the most important thing for this company. Products will change, markets will change, global competition will change. But if we have the right culture, we're going to adapt to those changes over time and be successful. And I really think that's a critical lesson for us as a company, and I think for the entire education system, that culture is key to everything. So what are some of those things that build great culture? See, that's the part I don't think my 8-year-old was impressed by. That would never happen in their presentation. I think culture in schools, as in companies, starts with creating a place people want to be. And it's not that hard. It really isn't. I started my first job in electronic arts in 1990, and I couldn't believe it. I got there were Nerf balls, There were basketball hoops. There were creative names on the doors of the offices. It was amazing. Google, if you go down to Google, same thing. You're going to see pinball machines. You're going to see ping pong tables. A very open environment. You're going to see couches. That was a dream for me. Come to work and have a couch. I couldn't believe it. I found my nirvana. So I think some of these things perhaps should be brought into the classroom. Google knows, as Electronic Arts knew, that this open environment, that active play, interacting with each other, creates innovation, creates a better work product. It's not just fun, it's actually innovation at work. And I don't think schools fully embrace that. Hopefully they will. As Darius said, taking risks. That's key. That would be key to everyone's future. When I watch my two daughters in high school take their exams, they're always stressed out whether they're going to get a 97 or a 98 on their final exam. And it makes me nervous just wondering what they're going to get. It brings me back to my youth. And I think about a professional baseball player, every time they got up to the plate, right? And they're watching that pitch, they're thinking, I have to hit that ball 97% of the time. I have a feeling they're going to be pretty tense, and I don't think they're going to be hitting many home runs. And so somehow I think we have to teach the kids that it's okay to fail, put it into the program, let schools know how do you teach kids to fail and to learn from that failure, because that's what life is about. Amazon. I think there's a lot that we can learn from Amazon. Not everything, but to focus on the customer and personalized service. We do have the technology now and the tools to deliver a much more personalized, customized experience for our students. And I think we got to start doing that. But there needs to be a culture that embraces that. But it can be done, and it will be done one way or the other. One question I've always had is why don't we review classes and teachers, much like public websites do today about books and restaurants, Yelp and otherwise? Why not create some transparency? Why not create some reviews that help parents, that help kids, that help schools understand what people are thinking from the people who are using those services? I'm sure it's a cultural thing, but I think it can be very valuable. Teamwork. My time's almost up too, so I'm going to go very quickly. Teamwork. Teamwork's going to be more important than ever. I think that we need to start thinking like an Olympic sports team and less like an individual contributor. Teams is how great ideas get turned into reality. And instead of just giving A's to those who are at the top of the class, why not give credits to the entire class if no one falls below a B? That would be a great motivator and certainly encourage people to help one another. Rewards. I had a great teacher by the name of Rose Gilbert who gave away a coveted gold star. It was one of the best moments I remember from high school. It wasn't expensive, it was just a little gold star. We see the same things in video games, whether it's badges, leadership boards. There's a variety of ways to reward students to make them excited to be there and motivate them on a daily basis. So I got two last slides. Obviously, we got to support and hire the best and the brightest teachers and compensate them well. If we don't do that, nothing else is going to work. I mean, you guys... And teachers are going to have to be great managers in the future. Your job is getting enormously complex. Information is changing rapidly. Technology is changing rapidly. You will need support. You will need training. You will need a community to help. And we're all in this together. And I'll say, it's not just about money. If anyone knows who this guy is, Billy Beane, he showed how you did a lot more with less because he thought differently than everybody else. So it can be done or will be done. Every startup company in Silicon Valley starts undercapitalized. It's actually that lack of capital that allows them to innovate, that forces them to innovate. Whether you look at a Google or a Pandora or a Yahoo, they all started as little companies, and there were incumbents that were much more well-entrenched, and guess what? They didn't have the culture, and that's why they didn't win the race. So I think it can be done with less money, and if we do everything right, that pyramid will be flipped right. And my daughter thought this was after the worst slide of all of them. I thought it was pretty creative. She actually wanted to take it out of the presentation. I'll make one last comment. I can tell you, being an investor, that the world is changing. There's more venture capital money going into education than ever before. Billions and billions of dollars, 5 times more than there was a decade ago. Innovation, whether it's adaptive learning or online learning or mobile applications or big data, you can name it, there will be change because customers aren't happy and the current environment's not working. So we will see that, and that will be exciting. I think it will benefit all of you in the room. Thank you.